Aloha and welcome. I am Tom Tenaglia. And a few short years ago, I was walking through a commercial building and saw a guy sitting down in the area where you prepare your lunch, where the fridges are, microwaves, that kind of thing. And he just looked a little off. And so I said, "Sir, are you okay?" And he said, "I just want to be spiritual." And now, mind you, we're in a corporate building where it was basically IT professionals, computer professionals. And so that wasn't what I had thought he was going to respond with. But we had a good conversation. And so that set me on this journey of diving into what is spiritual really. And so let's dive in. Most people think that spiritual is just a different form of the word spirit, right? It's the adjective. If spirit's the noun, spiritual is the adjective. Spirit, Yuel. And that's true. And Yuel comes from Latin, which means pertaining to, having the character of, or connected with. And so in a sense, it's connected with spirit. And a lot of times people just stop there. They're like, that's what spiritual is. You're connected with spirit. And while that's true and that works, what if we actually split the word differently? Turns out you get a deeper meaning. What if we split the word to spiritual? The prefix spi comes from Latin, which means to breathe or to give life. And this root shows up in many English words where the idea is about breath, breathing, life, spirit, energy. For example, there's spirit, the actual breath, the thing that's giving this animated force within the individual, the thing that keeps the individual alive. There's respire. So re meaning to like repeat, to go on and on and on. So respire, breathing repeatedly, which is just breathing, right? Expire, to breathe out, which originally meant taking your last breath. And so in some older texts, you can see the word expire used to mean that somebody passed away. Also, it's that the breath is basically gone. So if you think of food expiring, it's like the life force within the food is gone. Perspire, breathing through, so sweating. Conspire, breathing together, to act in harmony, to plan jointly. Aspire, to breathe toward, meaning to reach or to strive. Inspire, to breathe into, to fill with life, to fill with energy. So let's look at ritual. Ritual is a repeated intentional act that carries symbolic or emotional meaning, which from Latin, a proven way of doing something, a ceremony, a custom. It ultimately evolved through different Latin forms to basically mean an established practice. Originally, it conveyed repetition, structure, symbolic significance, and the deeper idea is that it's a patterned action that preserves meaning through time. So essentially, there's a continuity to it, there's an intentionality to it, and there's a shared meaning behind it. So if we put it together, we have the breath and the repeated meaningful action. So together, ritual or spiritual is a practice that gives life, a repeated action that animates the soul, a pattern of meaning that breathes life into existence. And that's why spiritual practices today refer to things that ground you, center you, connect you, bring meaning, create renewal. Because spiritual literally is a ritual that breathes life into you, recurring moments of breathing life into you. Inspiration, well, the suffix ration comes from the Latin meaning a method or way of doing something, the act, process, or result of doing something deliberately or systematically. And so we already talked about in spi breathing, in breathing into. So if you have breathing into deliberately and a process, there's a process of breathing life into something, is what inspiration is. Inspiration is not having an idea. It's that you're being animated by something beyond your current state. Life is breathed or breathed into you, if you will. And so looking at spirit now, spirit is to breathe. essentially. It's that life, it's that vital force. Now, the meaning evolved through different ways, through the breath itself, the visible sign of life, the breath, the inner vitality. There's the vital force, the soul, the courage, the character, the thing that keeps you going. And then there's the inner force, the mindset, the attitude, the essence. And so that's why we still say things like he lost his spirit, or she has a great spirit, or even team spirit, entrepreneurial spirit, creative spirit. Right? What's an entrepreneurial spirit? It's the breath of the entrepreneur. It's what keeps the entrepreneurial ideas going in business, what keeps that entrepreneur moving forward in business. And all of these point to an animated inner breath, not something that is abstract or mystical. This is why a lot of spiritual practices, it's like they start with this idea of this external spirit, and a lot of spiritual practices then help you to find it within. Well, that's literally what this is talking about. And so, what's the deeper takeaway here? Spirit is what animates you, is what moves you, it's what gives you energy, it's what gives you direction, it's what brings something alive. And spiritual is the repeated practice that gives something, that gives you life, that gives something life, or that gives you life. So, for example, a spiritual relationship is a relationship where there is a practice to keep it alive, to keep it going. There's intentionality behind it. So I thought that would be helpful to share. Like I said to the guy in the lunch area, I said to him, what gives you life? Where is it that you come alive? And he said, this is going to sound crazy. And I'm like, it's not. Go ahead. And he said, when I would play baseball in college. And I said, so your life force, your energy in that moment, everything was perfect when you're playing baseball. And he's like, yeah. I said, then there's nothing to look for to become spiritual. There's recognizing that baseball is a spiritual experience for you and that you're already spiritual. And he actually ended up crying. He had tears of inspiration, because what did I do? I breathed life into him, got him to see what was already there, got him to activate that spirit that was already there within. He was looking for it outside, but we just found it within. So I hope that helps. And if you want my help, whether it's navigating a relationship, whether it's finding a partner, whether it's going through whatever it is in your life, I guarantee you that there are ways that I can help you. And so I'll leave a link in the description or somewhere close to this video so that we can connect if the call is there for you. So with that, aloha. I'll talk with you again soon. Take care.